Welcome to the Good Karma Sport Fishing Podcast. I'm your host, Captain Ryan Van Fleet. Hey guys, Merry Christmas and thanks for tuning in. I know everybody's busy this week. Got your kids at home, or you're planning some vacation, or maybe coming down to the Keys for the weekend, or if you're in South Florida. Most the Keys locals, their term for the week after Christmas is called Hell Week. So it's just an extremely busy time down here in the Keys. The traffic is a nightmare. Getting from point A to point B will take 45 minutes to an hour. So it's just a flat out pain in the ass. But it is what it is. It's great for the economy. Melinda and I, as far as what we do during these busy times and holidays, if we are in town, and this holiday we're in town, we usually leave, but with COVID, we're home this year. I'll be working if the weather's nice. Today it's blowing 20 northeast, small craft advisories, but it's somewhat doable on the Patrice if you want to go out there and bang away and catch some Cero mackerels and all that other good stuff. Maybe a mutton snapper. I just have not. I fished the patches last week. I would say they're okay. I wouldn't say they're phenomenal yet. So I think it needs to get colder when we need the shrimp to start running through the Tavernier Creek. We had a really good early, I think it was earlier in the month, that the Patrice were on fire with nice mutton snappers. We had a good migration going on there, and it was just kind of that first round of mutton snapper fishing in on the patches was good. So, but as far as what I've been doing as far as fishing goes, it's just I threw a 180 at everybody this year. Everybody was like thinking I was going to do all this wahoo fishing, and I did not do it. So I might do a little bit coming up, but I'm going to be doing some live bait wahoo fishing and changing things up, because that type of fishing is badass. Badass. You can troll all day and catch like a 60-pound wahoo, but it's nothing like catching a 30-pound wahoo on light gear. It is amazing. And when you see these fish skyrocket out of the, like torpedo out of the water for a live bait and just rip through everything, that is fishing. That is fishing. So what's happening is there is a lot of wahoo out there, but there's a lot of wahoo that are picky right now. So guys are trolling around everywhere. These fish are the fishing's changed. So I'm seeing it pre-Irma style stuff. So I'm making the change. So I highly suggest that guys that are listening is that you kind of step up your game as well, because this is what this podcast is all about, is learning and trying new things. So here it is. So what I do is now, number one, I use my downriggers to get my baits down deep. Now, what do you use for live bait? You can use goggle eyes. I prefer the goggle eyes, but they're extremely pricey. They are, and they're hard to get a hold of. So for the average guy coming down here on vacation and you can't get a hold of goggle eyes, here's what I would recommend for you guys. I would catch some blue runners, some small ones, medium size, especially for the medium size ones for wahoo fishing. They work very well. So all you need is a really fast bait. That's what you need. Something's going to thump and make that vibration. Okay, so that's something if you can't get a hold of live goggle eyes. Also to the ballyhoo, big greenback ballyhoo, and that is a amazing live bait for big wahoo. So they want that stuff. Now, if you're looking for sailfish on the surface, then the best ballyhoo that you can get are the small greenback ballyhoo. They're going to survive in the tanks and in your live well tanks on your boat longer and all that other good stuff. So, and you're looking for gumdrop size. You're looking for smaller size. So, especially with goggle eyes, everybody wants to get those big goggle eyes. No, you want the small goggle eyes. You want them. That's what you want. They kick off more vibration. They're perfect size. You don't want them too big. That's what you want. You don't want those jumbo size. Now this is for sailfish, okay? Not for wahoo fishing. For wahoo fishing, I want the biggest goggle eyes I can get a hold of, okay? So, and when I'm running, and also for blue runners, I want medium sized blue runners, about the size of a large gog. So that's what I like. But just a little tip for you guys. So as far as baits go, like if you're really wanting to look for wahoo, big horse ballyhoo on the surface is what I recommend live, and that's just something that kicks up more commotion on the surface. You want that bait moving, and you want it jacked up and moving around a lot. Now, live bait fishing is a little tricky because everybody's like trying to get the outriggers right and run the baits from the outriggers, and so you got the old telephone wire trick where you twist up the wire and then use that as a release on spinning rods. Here's what I use, okay? So I 100% recommend some sort of outrigger, okay? Some sort of outrigger. Now, outriggers are expensive. I know that. A lot of guys don't have them, but honestly, you got to step up your game, and you're going to have to invest in some outriggers because outriggers are going to catch you more fish, okay? And they're going to keep you weedless and all that other good stuff. And you spent the money to buy the boat, and I would honestly step up the game and buy the outriggers and get them. And you don't need to be nothing fancy. When I first started, I just bought the ones I bolted on, and I twisted them over myself, and they worked just fine. So I think I've got an outrigger podcast so you can listen to the history of it. So this is what I recommend for slow trolling live baits, okay? I hated those Black's outrigger clips. I could never get the tension adjusted right. I just don't like them, okay? I hate those type of clips for slow trolling live baits. You got to have the tension right when a fish pops the release, okay? And I don't like false trips. I don't have to keep wanting to adjust the outriggers. And I don't like twisting the line. I really don't. It just drives me nuts. So a few years back, I experimented, and I found the solution that really works for me, okay? Now, I've caught several wahoo, sailfish, dolphin, tuna, everything with these release clips, and I love them. And this is what basically these are downrigger clips, okay? So these are available in my store. When you go to the downrigger and planer fishing gear, these are called Trollmaster Hydrodynamic Fishing Line Releases, okay? They're made by, these are made by Penn, okay, and they're blue in color, okay. They're outrigger, downrigger, kite, and flatline applications, okay. Now these do make awesome flatline clips for live bait, okay. You just have to play around with it and be creative to make it. So what I do with these is I attach these to my outriggers using zip ties. So I take my current release. I've got these industrial, not industrial, but I've got my current release that I use for trolling, and then I just attach them to the stainless parts on those with a zip tie, like 100-pound zip tie, small, and then I angle it to where the clip is perfect to where the release just releases straight. So it's something you guys can figure out on your own. So I really encourage you guys to do that kind of stuff. I'm giving you guys the information, but how you guys apply it is up to you because everything fishes differently. What you can do too is you can attach just something there you can attach this clip to in between your, you can figure it out. So basically what I do is I use for live bait fishing, I set my lines back, and I use this Penn Trollmaster, the Penn Trollmaster Hydrodynamic Fishing Line light tension, not the heavy tension, okay? The light tension blue clip. It is absolutely perfect for live bait release. You get the perfect amount of tension, okay? The perfect amount of tension. And that's what everybody's telling you, that you got to have 1 to 2 pounds of release on your Bart's clips or whatever, your black clips, and these things are perfect. They pop at the slightest thing of a sailfish whacking it, the sailfish does not feel it, and he boom, man, he got time to get the drop back. Now, what I really love about these clips is that they're perfect for braid, okay? Because I use a lot of braid, and I use braid when I sailfish and pull from the flats. Basically, I do not use any sort of mono in between because I hate the line spinning up, and I don't have time to deal with that. So what I do is I just go braid to over 100 foot of fluorocarbon leader, okay? And then that's what I use. My rods and reels are designed to have the perfect amount of flex for hook sets, and I don't deal with using. I don't like to use mono. I don't like it when I flatline, so I just got rid of it. I just use 100% fluorocarbon leader attached to braid, just depending on how long my leader is. Sometimes I go 50, sometimes I go 100 feet. Sometimes I go more than that. So it just depends. And that's what I recommend you guys use, honestly. Keep it really simple. Use these clips. Don't dick around with using copper wire and spinning rods. It's been used for many years, and it's actually not copper wire. The guys use some sort of telephone wire. And it's hard to get a hold of. It's got the right amount of tension. So it's something that's a well-kept secret down here, and you guys they just say use the copper wire. It's not. It's a certain copper wire that these guys use. So just keep that in mind. There's always something out there that they try to make it look easy. There's some tension adjustments that you have to use and you have to screw around with. So just FYI. Again, so you need to use the Trollmaster hydrodynamic release line clips. You need to attach those to your outriggers, and those are your live bait release clips, okay? That's what you need. So basically what you do is you set your bait back to the desired location, and then you attach the line to the Trollmaster hydrodynamic fishing line release, and then you set it. And you set it off your outrigger, and that fish just pops it off. It's the perfect amount of tension for live bait fishing. The absolute perfect. Absolutely perfect. So every time, you don't have to worry about your clip slipping. You don't have to worry about tension getting adjusted on your roller. When it pops, you'll be able to get the drop back really quick. It's just awesome. So that's what I recommend, especially for outrigger fishing. Now too, if you want to go without outriggers, and sometimes I do, and sometimes honestly, sometimes I'm just off my flats. I won't, like I said, I'll run 2 off my riggers, and I'll run a flat. Now, spinning rods, I don't like for that. I don't like spinning rods for the application. So what I use the Talica 16s, and if you really want a really good sailfish reel, then I would go with the Speedmaster size 12. It's perfect for live bait fishing. Yeah, you got that black knob there, but honestly, you're really about wanting the drop back. It's really smooth. It's really fast. You got to get the line back really quick. And for sail fishing, you can't beat that little reel. So you just pack it full of 30-pound braid, and you got yourself a killer reel. And you need a live bait rod, okay? You need to get a 30-80 live bait rod. That's what I would recommend. I use the adrenaline rods, but a 30-80 is what I recommend, and with a fast tip, because you want to be able to see that bait getting nervous. And I'm able to get away with using braid because my rod tips are designed to where I have enough flex to where I won't be pulling hooks. Okay, so my 30-80s that I use for live bait, I use for mutton fishing. And you guys see how many mutton fishing, we rarely pull a hook on a mutton snapper. And those are the same rods that I use for live bait wahoo fishing off my downriggers, which I'll talk about in another podcast. So again, I'm going to say it again. I recommend that this season that you try, and you need to adjust. You got to figure it out and kind of use your brain a little bit about how to get the release clips to work. Okay, I can't give it to you all because I want you guys to like. It's all part of the gig. Is that I had to figure it out. So I want you guys. I'm going to give you the tool. I'm going to give you a couple little tips, but I want you guys to figure it out on your own on how to get it mount it. So I'm not going to put up a video on it or anything like that. I want you to. I'm giving you the tool. I'm telling you, I use zip ties. I attach it to my outriggers using I have an outrigger. I've got a release clip already there. So I've taken what I do is I just attach this Trollmaster hydrodynamic fishing line release to the current outrigger that I have, and I get it adjusted correctly, and then that's what I use for live bait. So then when I want to switch over to trolling, I simply cut off the Trollmaster release and then go to my regular clips. So, and if something happens where one of the clips malfunction, then I've got a clip already there. So I've got a backup. Guys, I hope that really helps you guys. Again, it's to get sail fishing and live bait fishing off the outriggers is really tricky. You got to get the release tension correct. Otherwise, you're going to pull hooks and miss fish. Get the drop back, especially if you're using live ballyhoo. That's it. And also, too, you need to get your outriggers adjusted high, okay? You want your outriggers adjusted. You want to get them as high as you can go. Reason why is that you want your live baits just in the water moving around, creating a lot of commotion, okay? And you got to have a lot of bait, okay? So if you have a good capacity, then I would highly suggest that you get as many ballyhoo as you can, okay? And you just need to start tossing them in the water and using them as live bait chum, okay? It's for the average guy, everybody's trying to get the pilchards and stuff for this time of year. Honestly, if you're looking to catch sailfish, you need to get as many ballyhoo as you can. That's what you need. And if you're flying the kites, then the pilchard is like the candy, okay? Goggle eyes, you need small goggle eyes down here, okay? Unless you're targeting wahoo. But you need to get big pilchards. And if you get the herring or the sardine, or herring is like the cat's ass for everything. Herring is actually my favorite bait for sailfish when I can get a hold of it. And I love herring. It's just, and I'll have access to that this spring, and I'll probably use, when I do that type of fishing, if I do it, herring will be it. So, and yeah. I think that's all I got for today. I really want you guys to really look at that outrigger setup, and I wouldn't be talking about it. I've been doing it for years, actually, and I really just love it. It's just so easy, and I keep a stash of those. I actually have like 10 or 12 of those release clips, and I keep a stash of them, and I keep them in good shape. And then, so on the next podcast, I'll talk about using the downrigger. And, one more thing. If you want to get your baits down deep, then you need to look at buying the mutton crusher course and quit using those damn rubber bands and breaking off sinkers and all that stuff. If you want to get a bait down deep and you want to use inline trolling leads, then I would highly recommend you look at the mutton crusher rig and add a bait that way. And use the mutton crusher rig to get your baits down deep if you don't have downriggers. You can use that rig and add 32-ounce sinkers. You can add up to like some crazy amounts of lead and get your baits down deep. You can bring it up. You can take off the lead. You can reel the fish in with no problem. Again, you can find the mutton crusher rig in my courses. If you haven't purchased it already, you're definitely missing out because it is the rig. And if you don't think it is, you can check out my Instagram. Guys, that's all I got for today. Thanks for tuning in. Everybody, have a Merry Christmas. I really appreciate you guys listening to the podcast. I hope this helps you out over the holidays. I will do a live bait downrigger course, or a live bait downrigger episode here coming up, probably within the next 2 weeks, and get you guys ready for the live bait fishing. All right, guys, I'm going to tell you, the colder it gets, the shittier it gets when it comes to trolling. There's going to be more weeds, and you're not going to catch. And that's the biggest complaint I get from people is that, what do I do in the winter? There's no dolphin. Well, you need to get your ass dialed in to live bait fishing and suck it up for a couple months, okay? And leave the trolling rods at home. Learn a different skill. What you're going to find is the damn dolphin are going to swim up to your boat, and you're going to catch more of them. Okay, leave the squids and leave the trolling rigs, and God, man, all you got to do is grab 4 rods, some hooks, and some circle hooks, and stop at the patch and catch some snappers, and then grab some live ballyhoo or order in some bait and go out there and make the most of the short days we have. Conch Reef is where you need to be for live bait fishing in the winter in the Keys. Little Conch down to the tarpon hole. That's where I recommend you guys target your efforts at for live bait fishing. You're going to see everybody and their brother there, but that's where the fish are at, man. It is what it is. You got to fish in the parking lot. You do the best you can. Tournament days, you just suck it up, and that's tournament days. I go find other places to fish, and I don't like to fish assholes to elbows there. I think it's ridiculous. So there's plenty of other fishing I can go do, and not to have to fish in the madhouse. Guys, follow me. That's all I got, man. I really want you guys to really focus on that and start thinking like that, because you're going to catch some really big fish. So really big, especially if we have a cold winter. Okay? Fish are going to be deeper in the water column, and that's all there is to it. So follow me on Instagram. It's goodkarmasportfishing _FL _keys. And you can check out my website. Oh, and my tackle store. I do have those clips in my tackle store. They're like I said, you can go into the Outriggers section and you can purchase the clips through there just as the show support for the podcast for getting the tip. I make a couple pennies off of those clips. They're there for you guys. So you guys, they've been there for a while. If anybody's gone through there, well, that's what they're for. I'm sure there's been a lot of guys cruising through and looking, so eventually I'll get to everything, but that's what those clips are for. I've been using them for years, and there's a reason why they're in there. Again, you can find those in the Good Karma Fishing Tackle store and in the Downrigger section, and go through and order them through me. I really appreciate it, and it'll take you to an Amazon link, and show some support for the Good Karma Sport Fishing podcast by doing that. And thank you guys, and remember, anytime you're fishing, it's all good. Thanks, guys. Merry Christmas.